If you've been struggling painting because you're a beginner, let me show you how I painted this Starfire that's very beginner friendly. For starters, we have a very simple base on this model, and I already had primed it in black, and I just sprayed some light gray on it to add a little bit of a gradient from above. And then I painted this gem here that's on the front face white on the outside, and then I'm using silver on the inside here. For you just starting out, the easiest way to paint gems is the way I'm showing you right now. I call this my simple gem effect. So essentially it works like a mirror, where what you're doing is creating a metallic shiny backing, and then you're putting a transparent glaze of color over top of it. In this case I'm using Citadel paints, but any kind of transparent paint will work if you're interested in trying to make your own transparent paint. Just add a little bit of varnish into your paint and it'll give you the same consistency. Now after it dries, this is the really crucial step, is to just add some clear gloss over top of that color, and that kind of acts like the glass, and it'll give you a gem effect. You'll see that again later on in the video because I'm going to add some gems to other parts of Starfire. Now for the base top, we have some stone and we have some flames coming out of it. And to give us some stone texture, a really easy way you can do this to start is just to prime in a dark gray or a black. You can add in different shades of color because rocks are really all sorts of different colors of browns and reds and whatnot. But then dry brush with a gray, and dry brushing is a great beginner technique that will carry you very far in the hobby. Highly recommend you check it out. If you're interested, I have plenty of tutorials over on my Patreon at Relentless Storm. Now for the flames, you can see that I have them primed in white, and it's really important to prime them in white and not black or gray, because when we're painting on yellows and reds, we want to make sure we have a very bright base for that. So I'm starting with the white primer. I'm adding in some yellow as the base because, as we know, flames tend to get darker, or do get darker, as you go further away from the source. And in this case, it's not like something's burning, it's her power flames, but we can still use the same type of logic to put this together and make it look realistic for our audience. So you can see I started with yellow, and then I'm putting on some transparent layers of orange, and then a really nice little tip is to put some red on the very tips of those flames to really make them stand out a little bit, give them a little bit of contrast, set things apart, add a little bit of depth. And you can play around with this recipe as much as you want. Again, this is for beginners, so experiment. When you're just starting out, this is the best time to play around with the different colors, different techniques, and kind of learn what you like. And there you can see how that gem effect works. And now we have our flame on our base. And the nice thing too with the flame on the rocks, you don't have to worry about the overspray if you paint the flame second, because it'll just look like an object source lighting on the stone. So very simple technique for beginners. Now this next thing here, this is just one of the stars coming off of her hand, and I used some fluorescent paint, and you can see how it actually glows under UV light. It's much cooler in person, but trust me, it's really neat. If you're interested, definitely check out some of the products I'm showing you on my screen for the fluorescent paints. Now the next step here, we're going to be using a combination of all these colors that you see. This is my Atom skin tone recipe, which is available on my website at relentlessstormmodels.com. There'll be links in the description below if you're interested in picking up some of these Atom paints. Again, if you're a beginner, you may or may not have an airbrush. Now, I will say that this trick is much easier with an airbrush, so I highly recommend getting yourself a cheaper airbrush. If you're new and you're serious about the hobby, you can pick one up for about $60 to $70, such as this GSI Krios PS275 that I'm using. Again, links in the description below if you're interested in an airbrush like this. So I'm spraying pink over top of a white primer, and the pink is really important for this airbrushing step where we're spraying the skin tones on, because the pink will actually work to enhance or liven up, warm up the yellows that we're going to put on. You can spray over a white, but your skin tones will tend to go a little bit cooler, and I like warm, vibrant skin tones, so I want to use pink. This carmine color that I'm using in addition is just a red that I'm putting in the shadowed areas. This step is completely optional if you want to add some additional depth to the pre-shading. It'll translate into the shading that we do later to just add some more subtle variation in the skin tones. If you're looking to change up what you're doing, maybe you're a beginner but you've painted a few models and you want to kind of enhance your skin tones, this is a really easy trick that you can do to add more subtlety to your skin tone variation. Okay, perhaps especially when you're new, contrast seems really kind of like almost like nails on a chalkboard to some people. Like it's really difficult to grasp the concept of contrast and you're really afraid to push it. And I would say that if you're starting out, this is a really great recipe that there's some contrast but not too much, or maybe your style is more realistic and less dramatic. This recipe will fit you as well because, as I said, there's contrast but it's not too crazy. Okay, so highly recommend using this recipe. What you see me putting on here is what I call a mid-tone. So after we have the pre-shading of the pink and red done, we're adding on the mid-tones, shadows, and highlights using those colors that I pointed out earlier. So we're going to be putting on our mid-tone to start, and then we're going to do something similar to what we did with the pre-shading, where we're going to be spraying this, I think it's beige pink. We're going to be spraying into the shadowed areas like under her backside here, the inside of her legs, the inside of her arms, everywhere where we would see a shadow on this model. If it was, if in this case, if Starfire is standing outside and the sun is hitting her from above, or somewhat of an above angle, depending on where you're at in the world. So you can see underneath her arms, as I mentioned, underneath her chin, anywhere where we can get a shadow, we want to try to spray this in there. Now again, you can do this with a brush. If anyone is curious, the answer to your question, if you can paint skin tones with a brush, yes, you can. You absolutely can. You just have to be very patient. An airbrush is still highly recommended though if you want some nice smooth contrasting blends between areas. So like for example, if you want a smooth blend of your contrast from highlights to dark, you're definitely going to want an airbrush. Although there are other methods, but they're some a little bit more advanced, and I'll show them in other videos. As I mentioned, if you're interested in any of the Atom products that you see, I have an entire store full of products that I use myself that I'd be happy to offer you. These are products that you've seen on my channel. You will really enjoy using these. They'll take your work to the next level. If you're interested, I have plenty of tutorials here on YouTube and on Patreon showing me using these types of paints, and I'd highly recommend you check out my website if you're interested in getting some more paints on your workbench. Now this next trick is something that I did on my Psylocke video, and I did it again here, where I'm mixing a transparent color with silver. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm making my own metallic by adding a metallic fleck to the color that I'm wanting to paint. And in this case, I was kind of going for like a magenta, purple, somewhere in between a magenta and a purple color. So I'm mixing that silver with the transparent colors until I get the shade of purplish magenta that I want, and then I'm spraying it with an airbrush. And this will work with a brush as well. I've actually brush painted this mixture onto a model before, and because of the metallic fleck that's in it, it actually blends really easily and really well, and you don't see any kind of brush marks. So again, this is totally optional. If you want to spray this with an airbrush, it will brush on just fine. This might be a technique that you want to use for another model of yours where you want a colored metallic, and to buy all the colors and then buy all the colors in a metallic can get really expensive, especially for beginners. This is a really inexpensive way to just take the paint you already have and mix them together. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to buy a Citadel paint. You can take any of your highly pigmented acrylics, mix in some varnish, mix in some steel or silver color, and you'll be able to make your own metallic. You could also even use a metallic pigment as well and mix that in, and you'll get very similar results. So again, I'm just spraying this metallic paint mixture that I've made over top of all the areas that I want to paint that color. And you can see I did some masking here on some edges. I don't typically like to mask, but in this case there are lines that we can use to mask along that if we get any overspray on those lines, we're going to be brush painting over them anyway. So if you're wondering whether you should mask things off for someone who's new to airbrushing, my answer is only if you have to, because I actually would prefer to spend time brush painting than I would taking masking on and off. And it's often that you get some paint bleed when you're masking, so you'll end up having to brush paint and touch things up anyway. So if you can avoid it, avoid it. If you can't, I highly recommend being very, very careful with your tape or getting some type of silly putty or other masking putty that you can use. Ideally something that you can easily just mold and put on the model and then take right immediately off. But again, that's if only you have to do masking. So you can see here what I'm doing is I'm actually shading this. So this is one of the beauties of making your own metallics, is you can actually make your own shades as well. And the way you do that is simply by adding more of that transparent paint back into the mix and reducing the amount of the steel or silver color that's giving you the metallic, and it'll let you shade that really, really easily. And because it's the same color, you're just adding more of the color and less of the silver, it will naturally turn darker. So it's a really, really easy way, again, to save yourself a bunch of money for a beginner and still give you the results you want. And here we can see what that silver looks like just straight out the bottle from Adam. And you can see how easily and smoothly this stuff paints on, even with a fine tipped brush. And we have all these wonderful, beautiful details on this leg. Here you can see what it looks like after I get all the silver painted on, all the little details. We also do have some gems, so you get to see that gem effect a little bit more again. As we move forward here, you can see here I'm painting that silver backing again, which we will use as our essential reflective surface to allow the light to pass through. Okay, the light's going to pass through this green color, bounce off of that silver, and it's going to make it look deeper than what it really is. And that's the magic of this really simplistic gem effect. So again, if you're brand new, this is the effect you're going for, is to have things that look like gems. You just add on that gloss varnish. Here you can see I used that silver first, and then I put the Carandra's green on top of there. I actually changed up the green color I used from the original because I like this better. But you can see how with that gloss varnish, it reflects and looks just like a real gem. It really is a really simple trick, really easy for beginners. I highly recommend if you're first starting out, before you try going really, really crazy with the acrylics and getting yourself frustrated. It's really, really simple to do this trick, and it looks really, really great as well. So that is her body all done along with the base. So we can see how easily she's assembled up. Now, one thing I noticed here is she had some plain fingernails, and I decided to give her some fingernail polish that actually matches her gem color because I thought that was a really nice little touch to add on that green. So another thing I wanted to add on was some shading on this white part, because we had shaded the purple but we didn't shade the white, and the easiest trick to shade white is just to use a very, very light gray. Now that's because I was using white here. Now again, if you're new, it's okay, you're going to want to paint white things white, but as you progress in your journey in painting 3D models, you're going to learn that you can actually paint white with grays, and it makes it much easier to shade. But again, this is a beginner tutorial, so if you want more advanced stuff, definitely go over and check out my Patreon at Relentless Storm, where you can see much more advanced tutorials. Now for her portrait, you can see I'm using a nice pinkish color for her lips, and I'm then going in and painting her eyelashes this black. And this is one of the few times I actually like to just use black for the eyelashes because they are very dark. And it just adds a lot of nice contrast on the face and kind of draws your attention to it. I also added some pink to the bottom of the eye, just because that's the pink fleshy part of the eye, and I think it just adds a little bit of extra realism. So I add that pink bit in first, and then I'm adding in an off-white color for her eyes. Now, you can use white if you're just starting out, but remember, white is as bright as we can go, and we want a little bit of contrast and a little bit of color. So I'm using an off-white for the eyes. And then after that, I'm actually lining up the irises. And you can do this in several different ways. In this case, I'm actually using black to outline it, and then we're going to then add some color and start filling it in as well. So that way we bring some life into those eyes. Now, you don't have to outline it in black to start, but it is a nice way that you can do it. And here's another really nice tip for you all. You can very easily paint back over the eyes in white if you make a mistake. So don't freak out. The eyes are not as difficult as they might seem. So after that black, you can see I put in some green, and I left just a little bit of the black outline. So I essentially painted inside the line of the black with the green. And then I added a little bit of a highlight at the bottom there, so you can add a little bit of depth to the eye. And then I'm painting in black pupils. And then one trick you can do is put a little white speck near the pupil to add a little bit more realism and a light reflection. If you're not comfortable with that, one of the easiest tricks you can do is just put a gloss varnish over top of the eyes and the lips, and it'll kind of create those reflections for you. As an observer, you'll see them reflecting. Now for her hair, I'm using these ionic colors, orange and red, because her hair is kind of like a nice, very bright, very vibrant red. And these ionics are very similar to atom paints in that their formulation is very similar, but the ionics are a little bit thicker. So if you're leaning more towards brush painting, ionic paints are really, really great. I highly recommend them to new people, new beginners to the hobby, because they are self-leveling, very easy to airbrush and brush, and they won't leave behind tide marks and brush marks. So if you're interested in a really easy paint to use, especially as a beginner, I highly recommend Ionic paint, and it is available on my store at relentlessstormmodels.com. Again, in the description below, you can see that. There we have a nice shadow on her crevice of her hair there. And with that, she's all done and she is ready to go. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Was this helpful for you beginners out there? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. If you're interested, I do have plenty more content right here on YouTube, tutorials and how-to videos. Definitely check those out. If you're interested in more additional content, maybe some more advanced tutorials, or maybe you're just looking for some more specific things and you want to reach out and talk to me directly, I do have a Patreon available. You can go over to patreon.com/relentlessstorm and you will be able to see a bunch of free tutorials that I've released for folks. And I also have a bunch of more beginner, intermediate, and advanced tutorials as well. Thank you to all my current patrons. I greatly appreciate the support. These are the guys that help me make content, and they also help to support this channel so I can get more of my videos out to more of you and continue to grow this channel and grow my skills as an artist. As you can see in the background, I have some really incredible work that I have coming your way for people that maybe are looking for a little bit more advanced tutorials. I have them coming your way, such as Sylvanas, this Emma Frost, and many more coming. So please subscribe so you don't miss out, and don't forget to check out my website if you're interested in any of these prints for yourself. I will print them and ship them out to you. See you guys next time.